Alrighty guys, we're on to the final game. That's game number 7, and it is Circle of Ouroboros against Minions. I'm going to start the battle report with a picture taken from the army presentation phase where you can see the two lists that he had available. One of them was completely Gators, and the other list was completely Pigs, and that's Lord Carver and Barnabus. Now, I had to talk to this guy, really nice guy, by the way. He was explaining to me how he had played against eKaya a lot and, played a lot of practice games against eKaya, really knew his way around the build, and, I figured, he's probably right. He's a more experienced player than me, and there are quite a lot of other people around playing eKaya. So I took eKaya anyway, just thinking that, eKaya might be quite good against these guys. They seem fairly combat-oriented, and I can just rush in there, smash them, and feet back, and hopefully, win the game that way. In hindsight, probably should have gone for Chromac, given the fact that he had a few more tricks, and the Wolf Riders might have been handy. But, for some reason I picked eKaya. He went for Barnabus and the Crocs, and didn't really know that much about how they played. I'd played against the same sort of Croc list with Caliban in a couple of practice games with my friend Chris, and that was enlightening, but different caster, and they play completely differently when they've got Barnabus leading them. So if we go to the first photo of the battle report, here we are deployed as follows. The scenario is close quarters. You can see that I've put down a template which is actually not big enough to represent the actual control zone, but it's close. And he's put down some sort of little token nearby, which is his control area. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, the thing about this matchup is that he's got iron flesh, he's got spiny growth everywhere, he's got a lot of stuff which can really keep his guys a lot tougher. And because it's close quarters, I can't really feet too far back, because then he can just win on scenarios. So it's actually a bit further in the deep end than I thought, and yeah, it ended up being a bit of a mistake going for eKaya. I just went for eKaya because I figured that just comparing the two feats that we had, eKaya, would get a lot of mileage out of her feet. So next photo shows you his deployment in a big brick in the middle. Man, Gatormen are tough. He's got 2 maximum units of them, and he's got the ability to put iron flesh on them and spiny growth on some of the further forward ones. And of course his feet will knock my guys down, so pretty good stuff in general. He's even got the Feralgeist in there, which I think's a great model to have if it's hordes against hordes. He's even got the Thrall as well, which has preyed on one of my stalkers. Next image, Casey here has got the first turn and just starts by running everything up, and I immediately start to see the error in my ways, because it means that if I move up now, that means he can just straight attack me, and if I feet away, then he'll get the control zone, so the feet isn't actually going to do as much damage as I would have hoped. I can see that very clearly here, and he started by putting up spiny flesh, spiny growth and iron flesh, God. And that's generally how the game is going to go, I realise. Next image, I've moved my guys into positions where if he comes forward, I should be able to attack him with everything I've got, and then possibly feet back and hope that I've killed the first wave, and the second wave will be too far away. So that's the best I can hope for at the moment. Just going to try and play it cool. I've got the Pureblood in this list, so I should be able to use Wraithbane on my guys to mitigate the effects of Iron Flesh. So hopefully that makes a big difference. Next image, he activates the Totem Hunter. I may have accidentally called it a Thrall at one point, but it's the Totem Hunter, and he launches into the Stalker. Doesn't kill him, but does a severe amount of damage, and that will be important later on, because once that Stalker is weakened, it won't take much for a lone Croc to come in and take him out, for example. But that's the way things are looking, and he's got Barnabus fairly far back, and just waiting for me to attack his first wave. This is his plan here. He wants me to attack part of his force and kill maybe a few Gatormen before he eventually gets up and just locks it down immediately. And when it becomes an attrition battle, doesn't matter if I've taken out half of his army. The other half will actually still tie it up against me pretty easily. So next photo, what you see here is the aftermath of my turn, and this was my feet turn, by the way. all of my beasts have run hot on Fury, just totally maxed out, and I didn't really manage to achieve much from this. I went forward, I killed a few Gatormen, I knocked one of them into the other with a slam, and a couple of them are knocked down, so they can't charge me. My Stalker had rushed up and attacked his Snapjaw model, and killed it, but then his Feralgeist moved over to take it over. So I essentially trashed one heavy warbeast there, but other than that, the feat isn't doing particularly much, and now he can simply move all of his guys in, and I have to sort of wade through all those Gatormen with the Iron Flesh and Spiny Growth in them. So, clearly I am not going to be able to win this very easily at all, if at all. So next photo, he does indeed send in his Gatorman unit. This is the first activation, just running in here trying to do some damage. Minimal damage from these guys, but to kill them, it's going to take quite a lot of effort. And then if I do waste my activations killing them, he'll have a huge number of guys to attack me after that. Next image, moving around with more guys that he can. I've tried to counter slam, but I think not in the right position at this stage. I did counter slam earlier, I think, but didn't get quite a lot from it, so that's what's happened there. He's also let go of his Snapjaw model with the Feralgeist, although the Feralgeist would be able to take over one of the beasts if he kills it very shortly. Next image, just having a look around here, looking at the situation, I can see that the Stalker can charge to Barnabus. So what I did is I moved eKaya around, I used Muzzle on the Gatorman in front of him, killed him with Muzzle, and then I've buffed up the Stalker with Primal, with Forced Evolution, with whatever else he can get. He's warped for Strength, and I planned on charging Barnabus at this point. As you can see from the photo, this is my perspective sitting down at the table, and that's what I can see, and you can just barely see from behind the boxes that he's standing next to that there are some Fury tokens camped there. Now, of course, my opponent was completely upfront with me. He said, yep, I'm camping 3 Fury on Barnabus, but I kind of got carried away in my turn. I was thinking about moves I could pull, and I noticed Barnabus was just sitting there. So I thought, I'll assassinate him with the Stalker and just charge him in. Even though he's got Iron Flesh, I'll put Primal on. I should be able to kill him. But I forgot that the Fury was camped there because it was behind a box. Now, that's not his fault. It's my fault. I had seen it there previously, and it's not like he deliberately put the Fury behind the box so I couldn't see it. It's my bad memory. But if you go to the next photo, I do charge in here. And, he did point out to me that the Fury was there before I actually did the charge, but I've done the other activations first to lead up to this. And I thought I'd just do it anyway, because I knew that if I landed some serious blows on him, he'd have to do the transfers to his other beasts, and it was seriously hurt if not kill them. And then his next turn he's having to deal with my Stalker while perhaps I have the chance to get in a better position and do some damage to the rest of his army. But of course, with Iron Flesh on Barnabus and my dice rolling not being very good, I just couldn't seal a deal there. I mean, even with Primal, it's only +2 mat. I might have been better with Wraithbane in the end, just to try and actually get past his defense. So this little attack ended up not going as well as I hoped, and I didn't really force him to transfer any serious damage. So next photo, Wrongeye has come around and has beaten up the Pureblood here, who's taken some damage from something or other earlier on. And that starts to really mess me up, starting to cast some spells on me at this point as well. Over here, he moves in with his Wrastler, which actually takes a counter slam from the Gnarlhorn, which I thought was quite funny. So that knocks him down, but unfortunately the Wrastler is able to work while he's knocked down. So wasn't the ultimate tactic, but it was kind of funny for me to counter slam him and keep my Stalker alive for a moment longer. Next image, though, as you can see, he's just mopping up at the stage. Once the second wave of Gatormen come in and start hacking away at my very injured beast at this point, everybody's going down. It's down to just Kaya herself, who does a reasonable job bashing people up. I think at one point he actually used the Feralgeist on Laris, which was a bit of an insult, so Kaya then put Laris down in the ugliest of ways, just battering him to death with the staff. That can't have been easy for her beloved pet, but that's war. And Gorek's helping out, spending a few Fury just to get in there and hack up some Gatormen, but as you can see, go to the next photo, I'm just outnumbered and outmatched, and the Crocs finally get there and take Kaya down. So, final game of the tournament is a loss as well. That leaves me on 3 wins to 4 losses. Not the best outcome. Given the fact that it was my first tournament, I'm still green as grass in terms of this game. I'm not ashamed of getting the 3 wins. I did quite well in one of those games to pick that one up. But I would have been proud of a 4-3, and I was, secretly ambitious about getting into the top third of the tournament, just given the fact that I was very confident of my practice games. But one thing that this tournament has shown me is that, obviously, you need to practice a lot more against a lot wider sort of list of opponents before you really get the gist of it. My practice games are against the same people in the same factions, so once these newer sort of situations got sprung on me, especially with time turns and scenarios, I unfortunately missed a lot of opportunities, made a lot of mistakes, and I've got to say that after this tournament, I've become a much better player. So looking forward to the next tournament in November with great interest and enthusiasm. It'll be 50 points. I'll be trying some different casters, hopefully, and I'm bound to achieve a better result. So keep checking it out, guys. Thanks for your support.